We will start an activity which is going to last an hour. It's a workshop in which we will use the methodology of collective intelligence to co-create paths that will lead us to alliances between regions. I would like to note that this workshop is limited only to the people within this room, and we could sadly not host the people who are joining us online. So this is only for the people who are in this room, and as you can see, that's why we've had this cluster seating, because that's the activity that's going to take place now. I would like to quickly invite our workshop facilitators upon the dais, Ms. Jessica Oyarbide, co-founder EKHOS, co-director of GIBEF, Ms. María Virginia Romero, co-founder EKHOS and co-director of GIBEF, Mr. Leonardo Breden, facilitator of EKHOS, founder of organizational development consultant. Will you be joining us on the dais, or?
Yeah, we will explain the dynamic.
Sure.
And then we will, just because,
¿Sí?
Lo que quiero.
Hello everyone. Yes, my name is Leonardo.
Más cerquita.
Yes, my name is Leonardo. We are creating más. ¿Sí?
Sí,
Yes.
tranquilo.
Hello, how are you?
Can you hear? Please, we're about to start.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in this moment, we are create a community to work in create solutions to social impact. Yes. The first activity is divide the people in 5 groups. Yes. ¿Me ayudas con los grupos? ¿De qué son los grupos?
So we have. So this is a memory test. I have so many the mental. So we have 5 tables. Each table has a topic, so you can choose which topic you want to work in. We will tell you exactly which one is the topic that we're going to mention. So we have social inclusion, financial inclusion, rural development and agri-food tech, climate solutions and regeneration, and health. Well done.
Yes.
Remember. Okay.
Yes, Juli?
Yes. So each table we have facilitators. We will explain the dynamic, and then the facilitators will raise their hands, and we will say which table has each topic. So you can move around, and it will also be good because it will help us to wake up. During the workshop, from 3 p.m. onwards, there will be coffee outside. So if you want to grab it and bring it onto the table, you can do that. The idea is not to cut the. No, not now. Wait. The idea is one second. The idea is not to cut the dynamic and go have tea, but you can grab anything. It's going to be here only. Bring it onto the table and continue working. And we want every table to have representatives of different sectors of the ecosystem if possible. So we will have to divide ourselves in topics and check who are the rest of the people representing to make sure we have diversity of actors. And this bridge we are trying to create, we're going to do it together. It's not only EKHOS and our partners' work, but it's a collaborative effort. So that's the aim of this dynamic. Okay, so now what are they going to do in groups? Sí.
It's necessary for this work use the soul. It's only important in this moment is use the soul, but the humans are spirits, soul and body, but the soul is a connection between spirit and the body. For create a community, need to use the soul. Only this, but in this moment, to talk is necessary using energy to share. Is very important. The conversation happens. It's only important, the conversation.
Yes. So we were going to have 1 hour and a half approximately to work on this. And as each table will have a topic, we're gonna have questions. So the questions will be, and we will give them to you. We don't need to memorize them. But the questions will be, and remind me if I'm not remember everything, what kind of solutions can we bring together to this topic we are working on, and how can we bring on an ecosystem approach to the solutions we're trying to build. So if we're talking about inclusion, how can inclusion happen between the lens of different sectors of the ecosystem? How can all these sectors start to collaborate more within each other to create these solutions? And it would be really nice also to understand what are the learnings that we can have together between different regions to add value to the conversation. So what can we learn from the financial sector in Latin America, in India? Well, in the UK you'll have to divide. What can we learn from different practices? What kind of tools we need to create this bridge? And the last task that you have is you have papers on the table and you have markers, and the group has to literally create a bridge that goes from the left side of the page to the right side of the page. So you have to draw it somehow. You can put whatever on however you like, but each group will have that task also, that we will need it to get it done by the end of the session. Is there any question? It's 1 hour working? Yeah, and then everyone will present the conclusions. Okay, no, it's 1 hour because we start a little late. Yeah. It would be good to have a quick round of introductions once you start. So the groups, can we have the facilitators of each topic so people can recognize you and go with you? So we have Juli or Agus. You want to come here, like all the 5 of you here so they can see you? So Luli will be the facilitator of social inclusion. No, financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, Luli. Climate change, regeneration, Juli and Agus. They come in a combo. Health is Karina. And we have social inclusion?
Social inclusion is Alfred.
Alfred. Alfred in the orange shirt is social inclusion. Aquí nos falta rural development.
Sí, Nati.
And Nati
Nati y Inés.
and Ine, they will both be in charge of rural development and agri-food tech. So you can see them. Now you go to your tables and follow them to whatever table you want to be part of. If you don't remember, Karina Health, Nati Rural Development, Luli in the orange pants, Financial Inclusion, Juli and Agus.
Of the farm, and they need to be in a bond where they don't have much independent.
Transition. Yes. I think the most critical is the energy, and even in terms of let's say growth, right? We talk about technology, right? So we have, this generative AI, OpenAI has taken the world by storm. Now, to put up a data set.
No, because Just one level. It cannot be only spiritual. It cannot be only business. I'm just bringing another aspect to the table. World runs on economy. So if you have something for everyone, then the use case is strong. This is how I see it.
We are finalizing for now. Then maybe if anyone wants to stay after we finish the event, you're more than free to stay and keep talking. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about. But what we're going to do is each table will have the opportunity to present what you've been working on. So I don't know who would like to start. But please, when you do, you want to come with a few representatives, delegates of your table. I'm seeing people pointing at each other. And please bring the bridge that you created. I see everyone writing fast. Who wants to start? Who wants to come first? Sí, sí. Come here. Ahí está. Ah, ahí. Ahí. Okay, hello? Yeah. By the way, if you see her blush, it's because she's my mother too.
Very proud, very proud. A very proud mom. Okay, so, well, stand up. Well, I am Karina. I am veterinarian, very, very, very new in this environment, social business and impact. Apart from listening and support my daughter, I am very new, so I apologize if I make any mistake. So anyway, I choose the health table because as veterinarian I am involved in animal health and we have a lot in common with human health and many problematics are similar or we are in the same step or in the same floor. So yeah, I like health, so I am here. And well, this group, we have very different social businesses, completely different, each of them. So we try to find a common pathway to make this business work and to find a connection between UK, India, and Latin America. And I think we found it. So, and at the very, very end, the last 10 seconds, I draw this, like I used to do in the Pictionary when we play with Jessica and my son and my cousins. So it's a very kiddie drawing, but anyway, I think you will understand. So we create a kind of path, and we think, for me that I am new, it's interesting. Maybe for some of you it's very basic, but I think it's important to see this. And first is to, of course, to choose the problem, which problem we have in the society where we are living, or maybe in some other place, but we have to choose a problem. Then find an association that can help us, or an association between the three continents or countries. Then, of course, check the laws regarding the problem that we want to work in, because, of course, every country and every country has different laws, so we have to check because we want to work under the law. And after that, it's important to educate and educate the people that we will work on, or the people that will help us to find a solution to our problem. And of course, that goes hand by hand with nutrition, because if we have people that is under the average of well nutrition, of course we will have problems, as we all know, especially about health, not only body, but mental health, and of course that has an impact on the soul and the energy that we were talking about. It's important to have, for example, we have here a project about autism that she works with autistic kids, and so of course we were talking about specialized schools, and I think the schools is the seed of the society, and we didn't talk about that. That's very new that comes now. So if we work on the seeds, I think that then the trees will be really good, and if they grow correctly, we will have a much better world. So I think it's important to work on schools, not only about autistic, but in every kind of education you can think of. Then expose that the problematic that we have to different, expose the people that is involved in the problematic, expose them to a different reality or different society. Usually we only know where we live or where we grow, so it's important that we can know other type of society, other type of problems, other type of city, other type of persons, so that give us a lot of information that maybe is useful for our problem. If we get, it's important to involve the government. As we know, sometimes it's difficult to have the support from the government. So if we can work with that and involve the government in education, and also to create new laws that can help us with the problematic we have. Then, of course, to find funds from companies, from the government, of course, and especially work with companies that have a social responsibility, as we are all looking for. And the last 2 points were communication. As we know, it's very important to communicate what we are doing and to spread the words, because I was telling them, and that is a very personal opinion, that I was not involved in this theme, right, on the social businesses and nothing. So I really hear about the great job that you are all doing, and I admire all of you, just for my daughter, or just a very few companies. So it's important that you can spread the word of what you are all doing. So the ones that are not involved, as myself, we know about this. It's really, really important to spread the word of what you are doing. And by the end, when they say, oh, we are ready, I draw this. So this is, I got to explain. This is the social business, and that is, for me, the sun is the bright that you have inside helping others. Then the connection with government, so we need the connection and the help of the government where we are working, and then spread the word for the rest of the world and find ways to work with other countries. That was the summary. Well, thank you.
Thank you. What is the next group? Yes.
Yeah. Hey, hi everyone. My name is Abhinav Kaushal, and I'm the founder of a company called Zero Carbon One, and we are talking about the climate. We are in the climate space, so kind of let us start. So before we start, let me tell you that 57 gigatons of emission is what the world produced in 2023, right? And if we have to break this down in terms of numbers, that where this 57 gigatons is coming from, the power or the energy itself has a contribution of 26%, which is one of the most major contribution. And then we have got fuel production, to keep running the energy that we are talking about, another 10%, right? So if we take these two, this is nearly accounting for more than 1/3 of whatever we are doing as a human race. Now, whenever we talk about the energy and the power consumption, it is talked as a global number. What we would like to recommend is that, it should be broken down in terms of finding the baseline for each country and each continent, so that the global south is actually getting benefited from the global north. So when I say that, we talk about a lot of stuff in terms of Paris agreements and others kind of stuff, that how do we build, what is we are going to do. So global south, one of the biggest challenge that is there with them is kind of transition to the greener energy, which is solar, power, even hydrogen. Now to do all this, specifically hydrogen, it takes enormous amount of climate funding, which the global south is not receiving. And that's where the challenge lies. So if we can streamline the process where the global south starts getting much more climate funds, specifically from the global north, we're going to see transition to green hydrogen, which is one of the very bullish thing that we think, specifically for a country like India, where I come from. And apart from this, even the nuclear, because these are two clean energy transition, which is going to reduce nearly 40% of the emission that we are seeing today in the world, right? So that is the first and foremost thing, that we find the baseline, and then from that baseline we start going down, and then from there on, the funds I talked about, also to strengthen the agroforestry, the nature in terms of plantation and all those things, because that's where once we are able to do that, we are going to have a much more greener planet. And from an industry perspective, one of the things that we suggest is that when you talk about the industry, they are accounting more than 10-12% of their emissions. And industry always, they work on incentives. So if we talk that, if you tell to an industry, hey, you're going to remove or reduce or mitigate your, CO2e, they will turn back and ask you what is there in for them. And that's where the policy role comes, that, when we talk about the carbon credits, specifically even talking in terms of mitigating from their own process. So for example, you would be knowing that hard to abate industries like steel, cement, right? Mining, these are the ones who are like major polluters. Now if you talk cement, right, the limestone that they burn at 1400 degrees centigrade is kind of the one which creates massive CO2 emission. Now if you capture the CO2 right at the chimney level and store it, and kind of convert that value into a carbon credit, which the other emitters can buy, it can directly benefit, and thereby the industry will jump into in a much more sustainable manner, right? EU tried this with EU ETS. Unfortunately, it is yet to see a massive traction, which everybody was supposed to. But these are the ways that we believe that if we address these issues, we understand the requirements of the global south depending upon their region, society, structure, and their location, and what kind of green funding they would be using. I think that would be the first step to start the journey towards the green climate, and having a much more healthier planet. One more thing I would like to add is that from a climate perspective, we do also research in terms of climate modeling, and what scientists from my team, specifically from IIT Delhi, which is one of the most premier institutes in India, says that the kind of temperature rise we are going to see in the entire subcontinent, not only India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, it is going to become uninhabited by the year 2047, because the day temperatures will rise so much that it will be not feasible for the population to come out and work. So imagine the kind of world we are walking into. This is the time to take action, and so we go ahead on this. So green financing is what we require to start it. Thank you.
2 minutos. 2 minutos porque...
It's me. Okay, our table is a.
We will continue and then we have, and then in the coffee, we can discuss the ideas during the coffee.
Okay, so we are at the table of rural development challenges that we got to have in common between India and Argentina. Obviously, we have very different amount of people living in both countries. Now we have a very large country, but with rural areas with very little people, but here villages are larger and present different kind of challenges, which I can mention: mobility, supply chain, employability, attitude towards urbanization. People want to migrate because it's supposed to be a much better life in the cities than in the farms. Lack of leadership and decentralization. Also, we could see that behavioral changes are a challenge that many times are not addressed with the political solutions that the government brings. So there is a kind of necessity towards making focus and educating and bringing awareness to these behavioral changes. And of course, nowadays, technology and connectivity should be much more, it's a right, I think. It should be a right, and rural development is very, very bonded to this problem. So I'll pass it to my partners here.
So, hello everyone. I am Vanshika, and I think I might be the youngest here present because I am pursuing management and in the first year of my college. And talking about rural development in India, like I and Ines discussed, there are a lot of common problems existing between Argentina and India, and only the difference is here we have a lot of populations even in the rural area. So the facilities which our government is providing is getting benefited by every people present in the rural area. But the problems which are existing are, there are still connectivity problem, like although government are providing with a lot of policies which we have shown here, like Swachh Bharat Mission and Prime Minister village development schemes. So these facilities government has provided in India, but the problem is people living in rural area do not find connectivity to reach to these regions. They are not well educated. So although schemes are there, facilities are there, so if they cannot read, their accounts in the banks cannot be opened, they cannot get benefited by these facilities. The government has provided these schemes and many more. And in India, we have a like tradition of providing facilities with logos. Like for Swachh Bharat Mission, which was started on 2nd October 2014, and it focused on providing toilets in the rural areas for better hygienes, better facilities to the women candidates. So this has like government did fund 5.8 billion to construct toilet and provided 700,000 toilets in 700,000 villages with toilets. The second scheme which our government has provided is Prime Minister Village Development Area, and it was started on 25th of December 2000. So the aim was initially to cover 6 lakh kilometers, which he achieved, and at present he has achieved 1.25 kilometers ongoing, 1.25 lakh kilometers. and the target achieved so far is 771,641 lakhs kilometers by the government. But still the problem is existing a lot for person with disabilities or the women which are living in the rural areas. Like one of our members, Sonu, who is sitting here, he told, people in rural area are although getting affected all over the world, as Ines also said, but here in my country, as I know, they are not only getting the facilities, like government has told, the eligible age for women to get marriage is 18. But we know in rural areas, people do get their daughters or their younger daughters like into child marriage. They get married at a very early age and nobody is there to look after because they have their own governing bodies like Gram Panchayat and all. They do not go to police for anything legal or illegal. And for men, it's not about that they're not getting employment or not getting facilities because of living in rural areas, but people who are from PWD or are disabled, their sentiments get hurt by other people. Like they are told that women, they are having menstruation cycles. So how can they go and work in urban areas? Or how can they go to offices? They do not provide them educations. And for men also, they are very like, their soul get targeted, like their own family members or their own surrounding tell these men that you, because you are disabled, you are not fine, you are not normal, how can you work, you cannot even produce. They are being targeted with such comments. So it's like people who are willing to work or to get motivated or to earn, their souls get hurt with these sentiments. So rural development is very important, and I believe in India, we are becoming inclusive, but there is a lot of need to become more inclusive because, as Nikhil sir told, that still 67% of our populations are rural. Thank you.
¿Vas a poder en 2 minutos?
¿Ah?
¿Vas a poder en 2 minutos?
Sí. Well, we were talking about how to build a bridge between social inclusion and impact. So I didn't talk with the team, but I decided to copy the first draw. We create the sun, but it's true that at the end all the groups have the same purpose. So to summarize what we were talking about, we create this bridge, the why at the end that we want to create with this social inclusion is I like the reflection that we had in the team. Inclusion is not something like what is right or not. Inclusion at the end is acceptation. So we create this bridge explaining how we create this social inclusion. As a cross line, we decide to put the communication, measurements, KPIs, as we were talking today, and creativity in the whole process. The who, I like also your reflection about, we were talking about entrepreneurs, social enterprise, and government, and we remark about and, not or, so everyone should do something. And about what, we wrote these steps. The first one is listen the society, and create an identification problem with data, and also the purpose. What do you want to do? With that vision, mission, and objective. After that, we need to understand the diversity of each community, and also the needs. Planning the project, find and create partners, identification and collaboration between, and finally action and execution between both countries for sure. So this is our creativity, and I think that all the teams we are talking about the same in different topics. So thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Suraj. I'm representing financial inclusion group. So this is my creativity, but you just have to like it's actually India, UK, and Latin America. So we had a leap of faith to ensure we have an invisible bridge which connects us through people and through soil, that's people and earth. So what we did is like we just actually saw what all are the possibilities and barriers. So in our bridge there are small pebbles. So these pebbles are our barriers, which are access to information, barriers to finance, and so there are also invisible pebbles which is because of vulnerability, like people with disability, transgender, and other community. So to overcome all this, we thought like we should have we should have a bridge which will actually bring in baseline of regional indicators that will actually be defined for a goal which will provide equity. So since this is an AI life, so we want to aggregate it. So make it aggregated intelligence of bridge that will bring in solution for all these three states. And how we want to do it is through a leap of faith, which is liberation of knowledge, empathy and emotion, because sometimes impact doesn't comes with emotion and empathy. So we want to bring in more empathy and emotion, agency to the people and the planet rather than the boundaries. So so that's our bridge, the leap bridge, which connect us to try to aggregate the solutions and remove the pebbles of barriers and make all these states work for aggregate intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I see we have a lot of artists in the room too. So you have to feel very proud of your bridges. Thank you. I'll take them after. So thank you. I think all the conversations have been very valuable, at least for what I could hear of. And it's so important for all of us to really meet and learn from each other and exchange. And that's really our role here. We are bridge builders, if that's even a concept. So you can count on EKHOS whenever you need these conversations to be facilitated and really gathering people together with similar purposes and objectives, because that's actually what we do. So now we're going to take 10 minutes for a quick coffee break. Just get some fresh air, walk around, and we're going to come back for the amazing last panel that we have today. And after the panel, we are going to do a picture in the patio. We took the backlog there with a lot of effort. So after that, please don't go. Just come here, come with us to the patio, and we'll do that picture together. So we have like 10 minutes, fast coffee and little air, and we come back.